That sounds alright. Alright, time to start off with our bad idea of the day. Starting with... Let me just save page. Save as punishment wheel. We shall save it in documents and overlay. No, not documents, pictures overlay. Where's overlay? There goes stream materials. Save. We'll let this save on its own in the meantime. But for now, is that and that. Oh no! Oh, that's bad. Oh, did I hold on? Did I not randomize that one? Oh no. Random. Hi, Mark. Let me try again. Hey, okay, now there we go. We fixed it. Yay! Anywho, so as you can see from the title, hold on. Maybe I should turn off this audio. I already checked long enough. But as you can see from the title, and let me just turn on some things here and there. Make sure audio is fine. Okay, there we go. I should probably add something else. No, it's fine. Maybe, probably. Wheel. Let's call it that. It should be in pictures. It should be stream materials. Copy. Then the file name is punishment wheel. Oh, it's closed. What if I open it? Hey, Oni Rave, how you doing? Unfortunately, I think my wheel is broken. Well, it's fine. I know how to fix it. Probably. But yeah, so you'll lurk in the background and appreciate it, much appreciated. But yeah, so basically, since I've already finished Breath of the Wild, this is just a preface. You know, I might as well just start the game while I'm at it. But to preface things, I already finished Breath of the Wild. I already fought like Ganon, but I have been now dragged into the hell that is full shrine quest and side quest completion. So that's what we're doing until we're done, basically. For the record, I'm not going for Koroks. I'm setting myself clear on that one. Koroks, no, bad. But we do have like shrine quests around here. So let me see. I want an easy tracker that doesn't require me to open the thingy. So let me just do a little bit. I do wonder. No, well, it's fine. I'll figure out how to show the wheel later. Anywho, I should just delete this. It's pointless. But yeah, so basically, just doing the side quests and shrine quests, you know, it's not interesting enough. But yeah, just doing it, well, should be fine. I feel like there could be more, which is why I decided, you know what? Why not torture myself by making a wheel? Now, if only I could figure out how to use the wheel, because apparently it's struggling to show itself. Wheel. Is there a way? How do you show this wheel? Save wheel. Save to a local file. Punish. Punish that wheel, sure. Once I get this rolling. Technically, I don't need to get this rolling first. It's fine. I can just like very scuffily show it. But if I can get it to show now, wouldn't that be a delight? Would not. Would. Did I save it at all? Save. No, I did save it. It's just invisible. Ah, well, you know what? I can just scuff it. Copy. Can close this. Can open this. But yeah, I am not going to torture myself by having to search for the quests if need be. So instead, I'll just have like a guide I'll have like a guide right by my side for like if I struggle too hard on getting a quest. Okay, have I cleared up everything? No, I really want to show what is in the thingy. Window capture. It's not window capture. Window capture. That's group. Window capture. Browser. Not live split. Not stream materials. Wait, why does it not capture Opera? Opera. Damn. These things just hate. Why is it not capturing the browser source, huh? Why, yeah? Ah, well, it's fine. I can just go. Nah, I can't really go anything. I'll figure something out. Seriously, wait, hold on. No, for real. Ah, well, you know what? We can figure something out later. We can get to it when we get to it. As long as I don't die, it should be fine. Why worry about something that will never happen, you know? So I have 77 side quests in total. And I need to do 38. Yeah. And then shrine quest, that's 42 in total. And I've done 22. Yeah, see? Easy. Nothing too difficult. That's all. Okay, hold on. I might as well just start this. Is there a reason for that? Would you like to know? Okay, so how do I find other shrine quests? I'm pretty sure I've done like all the shrine quests I found. Yeah, I have. You know what? Let's focus on this instead. You notice Isra is at a loss on how to bring it. Stop killing me. Trouble. In the meantime, I will still try to figure out how to. Does Opera not show up on like browser sources? Like Opera is a browser, right? Yes, window capture. Browser. It's not a browser source, I guess. It's a browser. Wait, no, hold on. This is the browser. Hey, look at that. You see 2 timers. No, I don't want that. Delete that timer. Alright, let's do this one quest that I could have done so long ago, but just decided not to because I have a full inventory, which I still do. And I think I'm just gonna throw away. I can't throw anything away. Why is it always so difficult? Oh, they're so good. God. I guess I'll throw away the flame spear. It's fine, I can pick it up again, I guess. Nyeh.
Rivali's gale is now ready.
Royal Broadsword. I don't know what kind of wizardry. And yeah, what was inside the treasure chest? It was treasure. Amazing treasure? Ah, that's so frustrating. Hey, Paige, how you doing? If I had just managed to get that chest, I'd be rich. The ladies would be tripping over each other to be with me. Alright, alright. Calm down there, buddy. It's just a sword. But I suppose you did all the hard work with the chest. At least I can sleep now. Look at that! We already completed one quest. Look at that. We've made so much progress. And it's only been 12 minutes. I think. Like 2 minutes actually, thank you. How you doing, Pidge? Hope you're doing well. Right now I'm trying to figure out how to open my browser on the source that for some reason it's not working. Be better if you roll higher than a 10. Oh yeah, if you notice, I kind of added the... did I add it? I'm just kidding. Okay, yeah. I added the command in the title. I think I'm gonna leave that for like, you know, just leave it as is. But look at that. It's a list of all the commands you can do. And also I already transferred like most of the stream elements command to streamer bot. So now you don't need to use the points. Well, at the moment anyways. But I do want to figure... Okay, hold on. We'll have like a 5-minute source deciding adventure. How do I... No, it's not display capture. Tough luck. Look, I'm trying... Better luck next time, you know. Anywho, hold on. I'm trying to like get my browser to show up, right? I don't know why it's not appearing in the Windows thing. It's showing like Live Split, Explorer, which is the file search, and Streamer Bot. Like, I guess I technically don't need to show it, but like it would be fun to show it. Anyway, we could just close this. I could technically just, you know, go to the display scene and just minimize this, and then we can show the thingy and all. But you know, we could have some fun with it. But unfortunately, never mind. Oh, anywho. But yeah, okay, you know what? Actually, before I even do anything, right? Hold on, let me studio mode this, just making sure I didn't fuck anything up. Okay, there we go. So you see here. Whoa, look at that. No, bad. So yeah, I did. Yeah. So long story short, to simplify things, these are the things that would happen if I die, which hopefully never. So the simple ones, you know, flip the game screen horizontally, vertically, doesn't matter. Create an audio redemption. We're gonna have to go on like another 5-minute trip on that one. Push-ups and squats, because I tested out my microphone, and unfortunately for me, it does detect my audio if I'm at that distance. So yeah. Chat random tweet generator, which is, as the name says, spin twice, which is terrible, and I decide to give myself a safe area, because you know what, I don't want to die. You know, everyone needs a safe area at some point. Okay, on that note, so I also have like the browser thingy-majiggers open. The guides, I mean. So when it comes time to, when I feel like, you know what, I'm just lost, I have the guide at the hand and ready. So right now, unfortunately, I really don't know where to find other shrine quests. And I have like 20 more to go, which is, oh no. This one at least have some that I need to do. Oh, I marked off at shrine quest instead of like, hold on, I gotta fix that. It's not shrine quest, silly. It's side quest. So yeah, long story short, I won't die this stream at all, no. Nor will I die throughout the entirety of me completing this entire challenge. You can quote me on that one. But yeah, I hate this quest so much. Also, I somehow Stop the timer. I hate this quest so much. Where do I find these insects? Where? It's like... I hear you! I hear you chirping around. I don't know if you're birds or crickets. It's one or the other. Honestly, I'm not surprised if the cricket quest is the final quest I complete. Ooh, Endurashroom. Alright, you know what? Just to be a bit more motivated, let's do a quest that has a clearer goal. Zora Stone Monuments. This one, I remember I found like 3 of them. I don't know why I marked here. I think this is an entrance, so not important. There's 1 here. 3 on where I've marked. So let's just teleport here first. So the goal for today is to at least find another shrine quest, which I guess I could technically immediately look at the guide. Technically. But let's try to find one on our own first. I'll give myself like an hour-ish, give or take. Ba-da-ba-da-dum. Now, how do we find the domain thingies? That's 1. Song of Storms in Farron. Alright, I'll keep that in mind. Right now, I want to try to find these stone monument thingies first. Ooh, a shrine! What's this? Nope, that's just regular body of water. Oof. Thought it was a rock. But yeah. Okay. Don't worry, we'll take a quick detour on the shrine. What's the worst that could happen? That being a major test of strength? Nonsense. Oh! Never mind. It's fine. I'm not dead yet. I'm not dead yet. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. No, I won't die yet. Not until the 10-minute mark, at least. Please not test of strength. Okay. Oh yeah, I think I should also mention it, because death sometimes would be too difficult to get. I would also consider falling down in like a shrine, where you falling down in a shrine as a death. So basically, like, you know, when you fall into the abyss and you teleport back up. Yeah, that's a death. On that note, what do indeed? Oh, look at that! It's a chest. Oh, beat him. I need something that's not precious. This requires so many arrows. Wait. I think it's this. Now we beat this up. We wait for that to light up. Then we beat that up again. We wait for... oh no! Fuck. Okay, so that one needs to somehow be at the bottom right now. I want to bring that side down. And once that side is down, I need this one to light up first. The bottom one to light up last. So shit, I'm gonna have to like put one out for now. Yeah, have that. Okay, but we can't leave it like that, so we turn it one more time. And then, just to make sure that that side is lit. Okay, that side is lit. Now we just have to flip. No, it's the wrong side. It's the wrong side because I want this. I want this to flip up, but right now it's pointing that way. So I have to continue flipping, right? Yeah, we'll continue flipping. Like that, like so. And then we have... no! It's the wrong direction. 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 Where is the water spout? Where is the water spout? The water spout is below the water. Can't believe this is why I lose a whole chunk of my arrows. Okay. Okay. Turn again. Now that side is that. Now we... you know what? That works. How do you get the chests? I suppose like shoot fire arrows there. Oh, you are. I think. Let's fucking go! Woo! Ooh, bow. No, not my Savage Lionel bow. It's about broke. Oh no! The Savage Lion bow! It's broken! It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. As long as we believe. As long as you believe, we shall believe. Isn't that right, fellas? Let's take these out first. Pictures. Whee! No. Come on, bitch. Where's the belief? If you don't believe, then you don't believe. You know? Who's gonna believe if you don't believe, huh? Alright. Now back to our main objective. What is it? I don't remember. Alright, I was about to do the elephant. No, not elephant, the monuments. There we go. Your belief is death. So what you're saying is, if you don't believe, then you believe. It would be better for you to not believe. Believe in me. Shoot. Don't believe in you. Believe in me that believes in you. Wait. Fuck. I don't remember how the quote goes. I think it's just that. Believe in the me that believes in you. I already found that one. My only question is, how do I find the rest? There we go. Haha, indeed. So I found 3 out in the wild, and there's one where we're introduced first. So that's 4. So that means I need to find 6 more. And all of them should be around this area. Do I need your magic thingy? Most of them are on the path on the way to Zora. You know, that makes more sense, yeah. Do I need you? No, I need Moblin Club. So I don't need you, Magic Man. Alright, then we'll find the ones on the path first then. Whee! Whee! That's right. If there's 2 quests that are annoying to me at the moment, it's the Weapons Connoisseur and the Restless Cricket one. If those are the only 2 quests left, I'll consider it as I've completed the entire thing. It's fine, don't worry. I'll do my best to complete them at least. I do need to find. I don't remember where though. Where's the path to there? Damn, giving up. I know my lip. No, actually not. Yeah, fine. Fine. You know what? Fine. Fine. I'll complete the quest and I'll find the crickets. If it takes up to stream 100, I'll find the crickets. We're gonna have an entire stream of just finding crickets. If you're talking about the path, then yeah, I am. This is the path. Honestly though, why are the crickets so gosh darn difficult to find? Is it just me? Am I dumb? Don't answer that question. No. It's a you prop. God dang it! I told you not to answer the question. Okay. Ba-da-ba-da-bum. Ba-da-ba-da-bum. Grab the radish. Grab the radish. Too bad. Damn. How does it feel to know that you hurt someone's fifis? Your day to day. Damn. Damn, didn't know you were that heartless. No, not here. Oh, nope. Not you. Not you. I wasn't talking to you when I said I was trying to find things. Have I found this one? I think this is it. No, I already found this one, but let's in case. Yes, Stray Guardian. Yeah, no, this one is a Stray Guardian story. So it's not this. Nah! Alright. Is that? Nope. Oh no, it's rain. No, 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 no. I won't die. I'm not gonna be dying anytime soon. No, sir. No, sir. I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson. I know the tricks. This game can't kill me via natural methods no more. I think. Wish there was an indication of which you have and have not found. Yeah, that's true. The only way I could have the indicator right now is literally by just actively marking what I found. Which is how I know I found like 3 of them right now. 1, 2, 3. And if one of them is clearly here. That's as far as I got. It's clearly around. How big is that? Well, that's a big body of water, so I don't think there's gonna be any over there. So let's just keep going, I guess. Is that a nope, that's a spear. Are you? Nope, you're some kind of pebble. Give me that money, thank you. But where? Ah, there we go. That's one I haven't found yet. Gotta clear my throat. 3 officers, part 7. The hero who asked King Dorifan. It was a time when the of the land were by the beast who lived on but one drove the beast back at to the Zora Helm fight north of in the near it the to the of the okay, I really don't of the what of the hero of the hero link, I guess. Time has taken its toll on this. Alright, now I have to read it properly because I didn't catch it at all. Time, people, land, threatened, Plymouth, Plymouth, Ply, something mountain. Hylian drove beast, restored peace, Zora Helm, north of in the ruins near. Oh wait, this is the. Oh wait, no. If this is the one, this is the one exactly the same one as the one over. So that means that one doesn't count. Oh no. No. That means I have to find one more extra. No. No. Okay. Why game? Why art thou? Have I found that one? I have not. Why does it not count? Because that's the exact same story, I think. No, that one counts. I was talking about the one that we were introduced to at the one that triggered this quest in the first place. It should? Huh. Ah well. History of the Zora Part 3, Miracle of the White Scale. Our scholars say that in the distant past, Zora's domain had a king with no special talent for the art of war. You think so? Well, hope so. Ugh. What he lacked in skill with a blade, he made up for in love for his people, and especially love for his queen. His queen widow. One day, news reached the king of a horde of monsters gathering in the Zodabon Highlands. The king steeled himself for war to protect his people, but the queen knew how ill-suited for the task he was. Worried for his life, she wove one of her own scales into his armor, hoping that her love would protect him in battle. It seemed for a time that the tide of battle favored the Zora and that all would make it safely home. But the cunning Lizalfos general saw an opening and seized it, driving the king's forces into a corner. Just when the general's sword was ready to crash down upon the king, a miracle took place. An errant sunbeam reflected from the scale of his armor blinded the Lizalfos, stopping his death blow from falling. This was the chance the king needed to rally his forces and turn the tide, taking down the general and securing victory. This came to be known as the miracle of the white scale, a scale that only female Zora possess. It was this miracle that began the tradition of Zora princesses crafting armor for their future husbands. Alright, hold on, I'm going to take a pic. Ah, we gotta go back up. Well, hold on. Let's see what's around these parts first. Don't think there's anything much per se, but if there's something at least. Curious. Aha! A clue! A clue! Lose control. Didn't. How many do I have? 20! I can get another slot. Look at that. Okay, well, we're gonna have to go back up. You know what? Let's go backwards. Let's go from back to front now. This is a challenge. A challenge it do be. It do be. Doobie dooba. So if wait, hold on. I'm trying to keep track. So right now we're in the assumption that all of it would be along the path. Hold on. Yeah, let's look at the story again. I'm pretty sure the story is exactly the same. I forgot where the path to go there. I think it's up here. Nope, it's not up here. Are there like timed quests? Like we can only get the quest at a specific time? Yeah, here. I pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's the exact same story. Yeah, History Part 7, Hero Who Defeat the Lionel. It's exactly the same story. So it's like a copy. Probably, yeah, I hope so too. I hope so too. Queso. Most of them is before the NPC goes to bed. Makes sense, honestly. Honestly, they have pretty good sleep schedules. Hey, look at that. It's your boy. It's your boy, Kilton. Does actually, with how frequent they're going better than you. No, with how frequent I encountered Kilton, right? Like, does Kilton like appear where like has a high likelihood of appearing wherever you are? Because I know it definitely feels like it. Also, look at that, it's the thingy. But before that, like, see if there's a path here. Oh, it's probably a thingy. Oh, I already found that thingy. Never mind. It's random. Jump. Oh, hey, I'll see. So basically, I'm just relatively lucky then. Go down the path. I'm going down. History of the Zora, Part 3. Our scholars. Wait a minute. Is this another copy? Did I end up at the exact same one? Well, you know what, let's just mark it, I guess. How many have I found? Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. From 5 separate ones. Well, technically, okay, if that one counts, if the one at the starting point counts, then that's 6. So we now have to find 4 more. Cool math. Does the quest not? The quest tells you 10. I don't think it tells you how much you found. There are 10 to find in total. That's the start and end of that part. It doesn't tell you like, oh, how many you have found so far. It's just, nah, you gotta find 10. Hello, Fox. Goodbye, Fox. Damn indeed. Damn indeed. Look, Gabe, I don't want to have to do this. Don't make me pull up the guide. I think I just loop back. Hold on. Psych, there's only 9. Wait. Oh yeah, for 9. Yeah, makes sense. There's only 9 to find. And then the plus 1. Hold on, I gotta go back again. This is just gonna be a game of teleporting back and forth. Get ready for the most engaging of gameplays. Hello, Sidon. Goodbye, Sidon. There's one behind the domain. What? Okay, I'll keep tracking. I'll keep that in mind. That's wild. That's wild. If one of them is over there. Old man. Because if that is the case, old man, then it's literally there. You said you only had one and lost the others.
How in the world did you lose one that's just right behind you? I found this one. You know what? We can read it again just in case. It's part 7. Okay, you know what? This is just... Is it just me? Or is it like... They're always repeating the same exact stories? Thank you, Flint. It's halfway up the water. Halfway? Huh. So what you're saying is I'm gonna have to... That's not a club. What you're saying is I'm gonna have to like... Fly nearby the waterfall. Huh. Don't know, never read them. You know what? Fair enough. You know, that's what you have me for. That's what you have this stream for. To read things that you have never read. Where are we? Exactly. Good to know I provide valuable service. Then alright, let's go back. The story in the game, exactly. You know, man. If you just missed it by just a bit. See, that's why you come to watch my stream, the WM1310 stream on Twitch. We provide invaluable service such as reading, dialogue, as well as reading the item description and any dialogue text that appear on screen. The only service we don't apply, the only service we don't give is actually connecting the dots. You have to do that on your own. No. I think, well, maybe it's outside. Da, 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 da. Yeah. No, I'm not seeing any monuments. I do find a crab. Are crabs monuments? Yeah, no, there's nothing down. Carb. No, chat. You don't get carbs from... Do you get carbs from crabs? It's up the cliff. Okay, hold on. Oh, the other cliff, sorry. Hold on. Well, we'll be flying here for a moment. Look at that, it's a chest. Look at that, it's a weapon that I can't pick up because my inventory is full. Because of course it is. It's such a flip-flop between I have too many weapons to oh god, it's a weapon. Oh no. Thought I lost. I thought well, if you say waterfall, it has to be that's behind it. It has to be this one. Oh, it's at a cliff somewhere. God dang it. Ba-da-da-da-da. Mm. Hmm. The way. What an adventure we are. Oh, wait, oh no. Oh, no, never mind. That's not it. Oh, wait, is that it? Hold on, hold on. I'm gonna go. It's fine. We have the endurance. We have the skill. We have the patience to go forth and search for these monuments. For what do we know other than to not give up? What is this accent I'm doing? I have no idea. It's kind of a mishmash between here and there. Hello and welcome to one butchering every single accent he could think of. Accidentally. Or unintentionally. Fortunately, it's not around here. So, ugh. For Scotland! For Scotland Yard! Ah, Professor Layton. I see. You've also arrived at the scene of the crime. Have you obtained any new information so far? By the way, speaking of information, I have a puzzle here. This reminds me of some puzzle. Do you want to solve this? Remember, make sure to solve it in one single try, otherwise you gain less picarats. We share a brain cell, hell yeah. Probably this one? Yeah, we'll just try. Padam, padam, padam. Padam, padam, padam. I honestly don't know what accents I actually like can concretely like imitate, emulate, whatever word you decide to use. But I know accents, but I don't know accents. Or at least I don't know if I'm doing them correctly. Where? Help, I'm lost. Alright, you know what, game? You know what, game? You win. Alright? You win. I'll go look at the guide. What quest is this? Zora Stone Monuments. Mine is British, posh British, and common British. What's the difference between British and common British? Zora Monuments location. Is there? Well, considering you made a distinction, then I assume there is a distinction. Save image. Sure, we don't care what the name is. I saved it here in the most awkward of names. Let us. I have received divine knowledge. I have received an epiphany. Hold on, I'm gonna try to manifest it into reality. There we go. I found it. I manifested in reality the locations. The locations of these places. It's magic. See behind. Was that a cat meow? Wait, like, shh. Was that a cat meow? See behind. Hold on, wait. Cat meow, I'll be like, meow. It's behind Zara's domain. Wait, relative comparison time. if this is the Zora, when you say Zora's domain, are you referring to this, the divine beast, or are you referring to this? Oh, it was one over here. Oh. Nope. N2. All right. Let's go to N. Right, let's go to N2 first. It should be around here. All right. So basically, you know what I want? You know what's a fun dumb idea? I think I heard distant meow. I mean that's possible. And my cat's not in the room. At the same time, it's not like it can't occasionally pop in. And by pop in, I don't mean like them popping in, but rather their voices somehow get caught by the mic. Not impossible, but should it be that common? Cat sounds. The voices. What voices, Paige? What did you hear? You hear. You hear. What did you hear? Oh, wise one. A distant whisper. Pray tell, what whispers did you hear? What whispers did you hear? The whisper said, I'm listening. I'm putting my ears very closely. What is it? Death wheel time? No. No. It can't be. Yeah, just for that, I'm gonna prove to you that I won't be rolling any death wheel. I prepared it as a just in case, to make things interesting, but we are not going to be using it. Its existence is purely as it is. Touche. Yeah, well played there. My ears hurt really. I should probably lower the volume. Ah! It should be down here. If the foresight is correct, it should be around here. Was the foresight have the prophecy proven wrong? Where is this monument that's supposed to be here? We have been lied to. Where's the monument? It's supposed to be here. How dare the game betrayed us? How dare the map was lying? Oh, there it is. Wait, no, that's not it. Never mind. The map was made by traitors to prolong this session. Oh, there it is. I found it. The mental image is proven true. Memoir of a gifted stonemason. What an honor it was to receive a personal request from King Dorothan to craft a historical stone monument. Just one. I did not realize how much content he'd give me, though it certainly exceeded the line limits of a single monument. I suppose I could have just shortened the text, but it felt wrong to tamper with our great king's words. Thankfully, I was able to split it all between 7 monuments to ensure that every word was preserved. I have always prided myself on my ability to think outside the box. I am so very adaptable and humble as well. Well, while I was at it, I thought, why not add two of my own? And so I created one for King Dorephan and one for Prince Sidon. True, this is outside of my scope of commission, but I believe that triumphs deserve as much. But why stop at that? Why, indeed. My achievement surely deserves remembrance too. That is how a commission of 1 became 10. Of course, having increased the number of monuments, I had to find places for them all. That proved difficult. Still, it's worth it. So long as I remember to sign these monuments, my name will be remembered forever, as it should be. Buddy, you forgot to do the one thing you intended to do. To sign the monuments. Like, really. Just hold on. Dude really up and said, "Oh, I'll also share my glories and all that. As long as I sign the documents, as long as I sign these monuments, I surely be remembered. One problem, buddy, I have not seen a single signature by you. Like, do you only sign one monument? Like, big stretch. Big stretch indeed. Yeah. Anywho, where is... Okay, so hold on. We gotta mark him. We gotta remember to mark him. There's one over there. Big switch, big swig, indeed. Why take a little swig when you can just go big, go all in, you know? There should be one here. Well, one over there. He's possessed.
Nonsense. No. I'm not possessed. It's merely just a sore throat. Anyway, I hear we're supposed to find some shrines and monuments. Where are they?
Ba-dum, ba-da-bum, bum, bum. Bum, ba-dum, ba-da-ba-dum. Where again? Where am I? That's far. It's really far. You know what? Let's see which I found. Let's see which I found then. We found 2. We found 3 and 4. We found 6. Yeah, I found 5. 5 is barely further in. We found 7. We found 8? 8 or 9? I'm not sure which one. Past the pond. Then 10. So we need to find... There's 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 that requires me to walk a bit. Alright, got it. Prophecy. Mental image session done. Now we gotta find it. I am in the wrong direction. There we go. That direction. Which direction? The one direction. Shoo, shoo, shoo. Feel like I shouldn't trust you with the map? Nah. What are they talking about? No. When have I ever gone wrong with a map, you know? The question is, where do I go? Should be on Plymouth. Should be somewhere around there, I think. Ooh, arrows. Which way is west? Well, if that way, hold on, north. That way is west. Look, see, I'm right. See, I'm close. I'm in the direction of west. A little bit more north than I prefer to, but I am looking west. I think. Yeah, I'm looking west. There we go. Hello, Mr. Lionel, sir. Do you know where I could find some some? Hello, Mr. Lionel, sir. I have been told that there is a thingy here, or somewhere nearby. Do you happen to know where it is, this thingy I am looking for? No? Alright, it's fine, like Mr. Lionel, sir. You don't need to, you know, it's fine. Just, I'm never here, you know? Please don't know this. Please don't know this. I don't see anything that looks like it could potentially be the thing that we're looking for. And it's certainly not up top here. Where is it? Hold on. Comparison time. It's not at the peak. It's lower. It's somewhere in the middle here. So I'm close. But where is it? Where? Where do I find these things? No. Is it below? Could it be below? Is that like a depth thingy? Hold on, let's look around here. And if that it really is nothing, then it probably is. I probably have to jump off the cliff then. Yeah, I guess I have to jump off the cliff. I don't see anything like remotely monument-like, unless you talk about like stones. I don't think those stones are monument-like. No, I guess it's time to bungee jump without the bungee. Ugh. Whee! Alright. Slow, controlled descent. Doesn't look like there's any thing in particular that's, you know, I'm not seeing any crevices or anything for that matter that looks like it could hide the thing, you know? No, you know the thing? Yeah, the thing. It doesn't look like where? Where? If I was a monument created by some guy who likes to share his achievements, where would I be? Probably, realistically, well, not realistically, the most likely place would be to the west. West? West. 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 West! There we go. Whee! History of the Zora. Addendum 2. Prince Sidon's Great Escape. There was once a giant octorok in Hateno Bay, large as a mountain, which terrorized the villagers' fishers. But this Octorok was a tricky beast. After the prince dodged one of the stones it spat, it inhaled him whole. Such had been the fate of many strong warriors who went to slay the Octorok. Not one had come back alive. Just as it seemed Prince Sidon would be counted among them, the giant Octorok twisted in pain. The tip of a silver-scaled spear pierced the Octorok's stomach from within, revealing itself as the source of the beast's agony. Incredibly, Prince Sidon had fought his way out by stabbing his spear over and over into the monster's stomach. Nyeh. Unable to bear the pain, the Octorok coughed up the prince and scrambled to escape. Ever since, the fishers of Hateno Bay have passed down this heroic tale. The prince who slew the Octorok. There we go. Whee! Okay, so we gotta delete. I'm worried about something in that I've took pictures of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm afraid that there may be a picture that I have missed. Let's delete that one. Let's delete. You know what? We'll keep. We can delete one of those pictures. We can delete two. We can delete that. We can actually delete. Nah, actually, we have two different separate animals. We can delete whatever this water thing. You don't need pictures. Well, that's nice. I'm still gonna take it just in case, but like, yeah. Usually when there's pictures, there's the exclamation mark, right? So yeah, fair point. You're right. You have a point there. You have a point. It's not saying I need to take pictures. So now we need to go find 5, 9, and 10. 5, 9, and 10. 5. Repeat after me. 5, 9, 10. 5 is somewhere by 6. Which unfortunately I don't have any close. We can go for 10 first. We can go for 10. 10 is by this. You use the cam a lot more than needed in the game. Damn. Is the 48 should be more than enough for like mandatory pictures? Look, man, I'm an artiste. I take pictures not necessarily for the quest, but I take pictures for things like these. Whoa, hold on. What happened there? Hold on a minute. What happened with that transition point? Hold on. Can I try it out? Oh no, I know why. Oh fuck. You took a picture in the... Oh wait, no. Huh? Huh. Whoa, that transition's trippy. Why did that happen? Should just be a regular old cut. Huh. And here I thought. And here I thought. Hold on, let me test again. Yeah, I know. That's trippy. That is trippy. What happened to this? What happened, screenshot? What broke you? Oh, screenshot function. Set active scene. Set source visibility state. I see why. I see why. Maybe, probably, maybe, hopefully. Studio mode. I think I know why it's broken. Because I did kind of like did some adjustments here and there. It should have worked because I tested it earlier and it worked. I don't know why it's broken now. I don't know why it's broken now. It should be working fine. Uh-oh. Have I deleted something? Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh wait, no, it's back. It's cause I'm streaming. Possible. Very possible indeed. Everything goes wrong on stream. You're not wrong. Because a couple of times that he tests some things out. I mean, like that works fine, right? That works fine. And hold on, wait, hold on. Let's all have a little bit of hold on, I'm gonna try to find not display capture. Window capture. There we go. Streamer bot. We're gonna have ourselves a little bit of no Opera. Oh come on, now streamer bot is gone. That's not even streamer bot, that's just that. The thing he just hates to be seen. You know what? Fine. We're just gonna have a little bit of a display capture game. No, not this. Nothing happened. Okay, so the screenshot, right? Here's how the screenshot actually happens. First, I take the Twitch message there. You get the current scene, set argument to previous scene, and then source visibility state in that scene to be visible. Then I activate the scene. And then I delay the scene for like 500 milliseconds. Delay. It takes the screenshot. Then OBS source visibility state. Screenshot visible. Yeah, this one is basically like the animation. You delay it and then you go back. So it shouldn't. It should be fine. It should be fine. Ah well, fuck it. It's fine. It's all fine. I do wonder. The transition is like broken for whatever reason. Like, hold on. Let me just. No, it activated its transition. It shouldn't activate it. Nope. Game. No, not game. Stream. Bad stream. No. Bad. Ah, well. I'm gonna have to look at I'm gonna have to look back on that again, I guess. Unfortunate. All the screenshots now are. All the screenshots now have like a very. Screenshots are silly. But yeah. See? Anyway. Yeah, look at that. Do you think these are important for the quest? No, of course not. But I took it because it's such a precious memory. I took it because, it's a cute couple. And that's all that matters. So to rephrase, did I waste all the picture album slots? Nay, I used them to its fullest. Maybe except for Kilton. Important for memories, exactly. Now on that note, where do I find the locations again? I know there's one should be around here somewhere. Yeah, somewhere to the front-ish. It's like, fuck. Yeah, there you go. Wherever I'm looking at, I just have to keep moving forward. Yeah, I have to keep moving forward. Then I should find the monument. Alright. Monuments. We gotta find the monuments. Wherever is the monument, we shall find it. Monument. Monument. Wherever you are, I'll be there to see it. And I'll be there to read it to you. As long as I know where it is. As long as I find where it be. And how it do. And do. All I need to know is where the monument be do. And it do be like that. 'Cause the monument's not where I am flying at. Because I went too far. It's not up there, it's not over here. It's not anywhere I thought it'll be. Ooh! Nyeh. Center. Bleh. Bleh. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da. It's a Korok seed. It's a Korok's need to find them Koroks and seed. Seriously, where is this thing that I have been trying to find? It should be around here, right? Like, I'm standing here. If you look at the mental image, I am there. Yeah, I'm literally there. You can like see it. Maybe it's up. Maybe I think it might be above actually. It might be slightly above. Huh. Huh. Well, it's actually I don't know. Could it be below? Could it be up? Yeah, let's try up first because like we can go down from up. You know, we can just jump as opposed to climb like utter peasants. And then you get to go up from down. Charming. Whatever do you mean by charming? Do you mean my charismatic speech? The charm I exude as I sing a song. As I sing some random ditty and tunes. Was that charming? No. It's charismatic is a strong word for you. You know? I have no comeback for that. You win this. Oh, there it is. Woo! Look at that! Look at that! You may win on Trash Talk, but did I die by just barely turning on the glider? You know, see, that's just, you know, it's merely just to prove that it won't happen. History of the Zora, Part 5. The Sage Princess Ruto, as told by King Dorephan. Long, long ago, in past more distant than even the Great Calamity or the creation of the divine beast Varuta, there was a Zora princess named Ruto. We know that she was an attendant to Zora patron deity, and that she was a fair and lively girl, beloved to all. Around the same time, an evil man with designs on ruling the world appeared, bringing disaster upon Zora's domain. It is said that Ruto then awoke as a sage, facing this foe alongside the princess of Hyrule and the hero of legend. Her achievements are remembered not only by the Zora, they are also forever etched in the history of Hyrule. The divine beast Varuta, built ages later. I am very poor stoppage points. The divine beast Varuta, built ages later to face off against Calamity Ganon, was named in honor of Ruto. That the Zora princess, my sweet daughter Mifa, was chosen to pilot Ruta is surely the work of fate. Aww. About Mifa, Mark. Okay, so that's one. See, I'm getting there. See, 9 is just a little bit in front of the bridge, right? Right. Where's the bridge? This is the bridge. It's just slightly in front there. See? Yeah. I can read maps. I know how to. I know how to travel. I will at least just barely be alive if I were to be dropped in a random place with that's not like in the middle of the forest. Yeah. No? What's with that face for? Wrong side, by the way. Whee! Bridge. How am I going further away from the bridge? How is it that I'm going further away from the bridge? Okay, hold on. I gotta look this way and I'll just continue walking this direction. Right? No! Seriously, why am I... How is this possible? How is this possible? What is this direction magic? How am I slowly going further away despite looking at the direction? Ooh, what's this shiny thingies? Oh no! Those aren't good shiny thingies. Those are not good shiny thingies. Run. I thought they were like gems or something. Ah! Ooh, what's that? It's fine. We're safe. Shiny death, exactly. That's literally. Ooh, shiny. Ah! Death! It's fine. Look, we're safe. As long as we're in this dialogue, we won't die. Carry my thoughts to him. Do you have a wish for the water fairy too? I can't help it. It's like I know this shall be my doom. But until then, thank you, child, for keeping me alive. For letting me... I am forever in your graces. Please, don't let me die. Anyway, we gotta progress. Oh, I suppose not. If you did, you'd have a letter to send. But wait, does that mean you're a servant of the water fairy? Yes, that can't possibly be so. Please don't make fun of me just because I'm a cute girl. If you're a traveler, that's lucky for me. Oh, wow! If that's the case, I have an important request for you. Once I release it, I'd like you to follow my love letter and get to know whoever picks it up. Once you do that, please report back to me so I can find out what kind of person he is. That's a child. At what point did I say I was going? I was like, the child is looking for her own partner, alright? I'm not even gonna try to be in the range, alright, you know? I know. You're probably thinking, why not just go yourself, lazy girl? I'm right, aren't I? Close. Thing is, I promised my mother I wouldn't venture out too far. So I'm begging you, please find the person who picks up this letter, okay? Fine. Thank you. Excellent. Okay, I'm gonna throw the letter now. Ready? Yes, fine. Okay, you know what? Pit stop. 6 feet away or 6 feet under. I'm 6 feet by the barrel at the very least. And the barrel is clearly going away from her. These letters containers break easily, so please be careful. The barrel's gonna be slipping with the fishes. Fishes. Ah! Alright, we just follow the barrel, I guess. Am I supposed to like protect it? Or like not touch it at all? Am I supposed to influence its direction? Oh! Run. Destroy it. Destroy. What am I supposed to do here? I might be, I may have messed up the quest already. Whoops! Sorry, lady. It's fine. We can do her quest some other time, you know? It's fine. We can do the quest some other time. What's important is... fuck, I'm gonna have to go to the bridge again. I do need to figure out though why the cam command kind of like glitches out. Hold on, I want to see again why it glitched out. Give me a moment. Cam. Well, it works. Apparently. Can you try again? Wait, hold on. Try again. Can you try the screenshot? Why did it work now? Can you try it? Just test it. Hold on. I'll put link in a cool spot. Alright, you can do it now. Yeah, it works. Ah. Curious. Curious indeed. Why did that happen? Where? Exactly. That's my exact reaction to that. Shoot. Which bridge am I supposed to follow again? Oh, that's that bridge. I'm not seeing any bridges. I see one bridge, but that's not the bridge I'm supposed to follow. Oh, that's the bridge. Is that the bridge? I'm not sure. Oh, there it is. No. I need to go this one. Thank you. History of the Zora, Part 2. A Reservoir of Hope, as told by King Dorfan. Once every 10 years, the Lanairu region experiences unusually heavy rainfall. The Zora River flooded every time. The tides damaged not only our domain, but our people, washing away poor souls and causing great suffering and disarray. Lovely. Exactly, we found a domain. Uh, yeah. Look, I can't. uh, I can't control my gaziness. I had like I had a quite surprisingly heavy dinner, and then I had a long walk, and then I came back and ate a bit more, and now I feel. uh, I probably should be I'd be muted. Nah, I'm lazy. The tides damage not only our domain, but our people, washing away poor souls and causing great suffering and disarray. The Zora king at the time, after seeking aid from the king of Hyrule, rode out to see what could be done. By joining the architectural genius of the Zora and Hyrule's technological prowess, East Reservoir Lake was swiftly built. Thanks to this fruitful partnership, Hyrule was no longer plagued by these devastating floods. In gratitude, the Zora kingdom promised. What word did I just read just now? In gratitude, the Zora kingdom. In gratitude, the Zora king promised the king of Hyrule to manage the reservoir level to protect all of Hyrule from floods. Each Zora king since has kept that oath, spanning 10,000 years. That is why the reservoir signifies our bond with Hyrule. That should be everything, no? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I haven't marked this. I haven't found that one yet. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, the only one I have left missing is this one right here. That one right there. Hammer time. Oh yeah, just to, I guess I might as well just say it now. But the plan is for the wheel to persist until I actually complete all the shrine and side quests, and also that the wheel can be added over time. The contents of said wheel can be added over time. So yeah. Probably not the best idea I've had, but you know what? As long as I don't die, it doesn't matter. As long as I don't die, it doesn't matter how many item is on the wheel. What matters? More punishments. Exactly. It can be. It can lead to more punishments. Oh, there we go. Now I can show the thingy. I think. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. Hold on. I just found something. Yeah, hold on. I can open that. You see that? But when I open this, oh, never mind. It's open. Well, never mind. So yeah, these are the current items on the wheel, in case you missed it just now. If I can just scroll across it, or even find it in the first place. There we go. Well, it's gone. Why is it gone? I have no idea. So yeah, if you can see, just a reminder, and I think I can like adjust things here and there. This wheel is a temporary wheel. I try to find a better wheel for future purposes. But for now, so far, again, we have 10 squats, 10 push-ups. This is 10. Depending on how frequent I die, I might increase it to 20. How frequent, or rather, how infrequent I die, I may increase it to 20. Just, because like 10 is short. Personally, I feel like 10 should be a little fine for me, but yeah, we'll see. Again, a random tweet, spin twice, a safe area, and flip the game screen vertically or horizontally. For the most part, it'll spin. Alright, fine, we'll spin. We'll do one spin. We'll do one spin for the sake of it, alright? Oh, for fuck's sake! God, I shouldn't have listened. Anyway. Right. What do you want me to tweet? What do you want me to tweet? I'll order it. I'll give you some time to think of what exactly. You can either select yourself, or you can just suggest to use a random generator. Mm. Fine, I'll do it. I won't be provided any context. Please don't let this be the tweet that blew me. Are those some toe beans right there? Oh. uh, God, this is painful. Yeah, there we go. Post made. Zero context. There we go. You can go check it out if you want. As proof. Yeah. See, that's why I didn't want to roll it. And that's why it's a punishment wheel. As long as I don't die, I don't need to roll it. I think I'm gonna point in the right direction. As long as I don't fall down into the infinite abyss, I also don't need to roll it. The point is if I can actually maintain that, you know. But yeah, basically the list is an ever-growing one. And yeah, that's much it. It's an ever-growing list that you can suggest whatever cruel and unusual punishments you can imagine. Hopefully not too cruel, but you know, unusual is fine. Hold on. You know what? I'll screenshot that exact tweet and then I'll show it on stream here as proof. If I can find it. Yeah, okay, I've hidden it. 13, 17, there we go. I should be able to find the exact tweet. I can't find the tweet because I need to sign in and oh no, don't die. Don't die. We just had an entire discussion on why I don't want to Yeah. You ain't getting me anytime soon there, chat. Especially you, Pidge. You might get me at some point, but today's not the day. Also, I just realized the timer stopped. So, it's fine. Who's keeping track of time anyways? The timer? Psh. Where is 9? No, it's not 9. I was looking for 5. 5 is like down. Oh, it's down. I am looking at the direction right now. So I just need to walk straight. Okay? Alright, chat. Remember, I just need to walk straight. Or I guess climb. Yeah, just straight. Nothing. I don't need to do any other thing. Peril to 6? What's peril? Parallel to 6. 6 is here. So it should be somewhere here. I'll walk nearby the dam and just make a White sweep. Oh, I thought it was a dragon. That was just a tail. Common mistake. Ah! Found it. History of the Zora, Part 6. Divine Beast Varuta, as told by King Dorifan. When the Divine Beast Varuta was first discovered at Zora's domain, my daughter Mifa hurried to see it. Those present that day say they saw an unusual sparkle of excitement in Mifa's normally calm eyes as she beheld Ruta. The princess spoke of the divine beast as she would a friend, and was overjoyed when she was chosen to pilot Ruta. I thought nothing of it at the time, but given the events that followed, I now regret allowing this to happen. I have spent so many long years consumed by guilt. My dearest wish is that her soul will know peace. I pray for it every day. Update it. Request update it. Travel. Beep 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 beep. Beep 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 beep. Look at that, making progress. One quest at a time. Literally. I think I already did like 2 quests in this. I did 2 quests and found 1. So it's a net of 1 quest. Old man. Old man. Link, it would seem you have checked all of the stone monuments for me. Now then, please tell me what was written on them. So yeah, it's apparently just the every single one of the monuments is apparently just fan fiction of like I don't know why. Apparently it's fan fiction commissioned by the king himself for the like stone carver. Like it's wild, man. Like I don't know, the king liked things to be like that way, but you know, to each their own. I don't know, man. I don't know why. And the fact that they put on stones and just leave it out there for everyone to see is like, wow. Wow, man. I don't know. Hey, maybe you guys like it. The history, culture, folklore, and various heroic acts of the proud Zora people. It's all here. Heroic acts. So that's what you call it, huh? So that's what you call heroic acts. Eureka! Thanks to you, I've compiled the precious information of those stone monuments. Link, thank you for taking on such an arduous task. Please, allow me to reward you. Alright, chat. How much do you think he'll reward me? My bet is 50. If we base the rewards on every single one from the past, it'll probably just be 50 rupees. Whoosh! That's not 50 rupees, that's a diamond. Thank you. What's your name? What's your name? I want to thank you properly. Jato. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I have never been paid this well before. Hold on, we gotta take a picture. We gotta take a picture. I'm gonna take a picture. You know, to commemorate being the one to actually pay me correctly. Or at least, you know, not make it feel like a pay. Not make it feel like a very... Thank you, Jato. You have no idea how much this means to me. Thank you. Okay, hold on. I need to update that list. Live split. Quest counter. Side quest is now 40. Huzzah! Hurrah! Huzzah! Pacha pata pa huzzah! Is it 40? I need to check again. Yeah, it's 40. Hell yeah! Look at that. You know what we can even. You know what we can even do? We can even do the ladder. And like, you know, actually, if you lose sight, return to Finley. You can actually do the ladder again. And like, no, that's it actually. We're gonna take. I'm gonna do like 2 or 3 more attempts on the ladder. And if we succeed, huzzah! Look at that, another quest. If we don't, well, my nose, my schnoz, my potatoes. If I remember correctly, it was somewhere. If I were to go down, do odd question, but do you remember where she was? Like, if I were to find the dreaded caverns again, probably no. Down by the river. Bank of Wishes. Maybe it's Bank of Wishes. I know it's this side of the river, at least. Just don't know exactly where. I should probably heal myself. You know? Just a hunch, but I think I should be making sure my health isn't, you know, empty. No. Your Jedi mind tricks won't work on me. What's up here actually? This looks interesting. 2, 3, 4, jump. Never mind, that's nothing. Nothing up here. Please, what? What is it? Can't see the letter. You lost sight of my love letter, didn't you? Yep. Luckily, I thought something like that might happen, so I made an extra. Please. Pop Nemo. Girl really just like, whoop, yeet the letter. Yeah, can you let me go? No, thank you. Alright. Now we just have to go way ahead to make sure we can destroy all the obstacles. And make sure this ladder get to someone. Obstacle 1 destroyed. Why are there so many obstacles? Well, why is there even an obstacle in the first place? It's fine. Oh, wait. Was that a fish? Give me the... Nah! Ah, well, you know what? A fish! Ah, missed it. Fish! Am I supposed to, like... Okay. You're still flowing. Is this... Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. No! Will it be destroyed? Okay, no, it's safe. Okay, alright. No, it's fine. I thought we lost it. Now let's just stay in front of it and just, you know, we just look at it, you know, and enjoy a soothing tone of, you know, calm, peace, and tranquility. seeing the barrel slowly drifting along the river, occasionally falling down waterfalls, bit by bit, a little bit at a time. And at some point, the barrel containing the love letter would soon reach to an end, reach to a close. It'll soon end up in the hands of a Zora, who would eventually read the letter, and whatever happens next is entirely up to both the sender and the receiver. Only one way to find out, and that is to just follow the barrel flowing along the river. That's a fish. What was that kissing sound? Oh no, it's an octorok. This octorok is annoying. The octorok now has died. My guess is I'm going to have to fly this thing. But before I actually fly this thing, let's figure out any other. Okay, so I do need to fly this thing. Give me that shit. Let's destroy every single octorok in the way before we actually proceed. Any other octoroks I need to worry about? Octorok eyeball. Okay, you know what? This is a calm session at the moment. Calm session is when the thing floats back to the river. Right now, we're killing this piece of shit. Alright, so if I have to make a guess, we're gonna have to make it fly. And hopefully it flies into the water, I guess. And not into a wall. How do I maybe like this? Can you fly the right way? You know what, just keep flying and hopefully you hit. Alright. You know what? You know what this calls for? I think this is a good place to call it. And for now, I'm gonna have look at that. We did a whole 2 quests, 2 side quests, and 0 shrine quests. Huh. 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 Yeah. Yeah. We did a whole 2 quests. Look at that progress. But yeah. Yeah, for the next, I think until like early April, the 2nd week of April. Stream is only going on for 50 minutes. Oh damn, you're right. You know, this is actually just a test stream, you know. It's merely a test run. I was just making sure things are actually working fine, you know, like the cam, you know, making sure all the things. Thank you for joining this test stream. uh, but yeah, should be, yeah, until like mid-April, I think. I'll only be streaming like only on Tuesdays, just to clarify again. Uh, but yeah, yeah. Thanks for watching. I think for the entire again until the middle of April, I'll probably just be streaming this, doing one side quest at a time or a few side quests at a time. Yeah, that's all. Thursdays won't be any stream. I'll only start back Thursdays once a little after April. That's when I'll start. Anywho, thank you guys for watching. Very much appreciate it. I'll see you guys whenever I see ya. And bye bye. Actually, hold on. I didn't test anything. I shouldn't. I pooped too early. Boop. Hold on. I I pooped too early. I pooped too early. Hold on. Okay, there you go. Now I can. Goodbye.